yourself bored of doing the same dungeons day after day after day? Well, you'll still be doing the same old dungeons on repeat like a hamster on a never-ending wheel. But why continue completing them normally when you can have the ultimate badass party setup that would put the excitement of even a Sprout's first time to shame? Before deciding the setup of the rest of your party, you need to decide on your own class. Because, you know, your party will always have you in it and all. Otherwise, it's not really your party, is it? And to make sure you can take all of the credit, you're going to want to assign yourself an important role. A role without which your team would not survive. DPS are expendable. You have two, so it doesn't really matter if one were to say suddenly perish. In fact, it's entirely possible that no one would even notice. And healers, well, sure, they're important, but they never really get any of the fame or glory, do they? So you're going to want to play as a tank. The mighty defender of the group with the power to determine if your teammates will live or die with the click of a single button. Without a tank, your team will go splat in no time at all. So you're immediately taking control of the entire power dynamic and asserting that yes, you are the top of this party. When choosing your second teammate, it's important to remember that sometimes even the most competent teammates may have a brain fart, leaving you dead on the ground. Or you might suddenly, forget what class you're playing, definitely not from experience, hit all the wrong buttons and die due to your own pathetic incompetence. And we all know you can't actually rely on healers to, actually heal or revive you for some reason.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
So, to prevent the party from wiping entirely, you're going to want a second tank. A competent off-tank can save the day in many near-death situations. Instead of having a healer that decides to switch sides mid-battle and assert their dominance by standing on your dead cold corpse and sweeping up the bones, just recruit a second tank. You'll thank me later. Third, you're going to want another tank. Yeah, I know how it sounds. But redundancy and consistency are the foundations to any successful group. And why should dungeon parties be any different? Spread the responsibility evenly among the entire group and watch all the pressure a tank would normally face vanish into thin air. No pressure means that everyone can play with less stress. Lastly, at this point you may be questioning my methods, but hear me out. Sure, you can follow the game's recommended team setup, but what's the fun in constantly following the rules when rules were meant to be broken? Rebel against the system and decide that no, you are above these redundant rules. And at this point, you've also just dedicated too much to the bit, so there's no returning now. You're going to recruit a fourth tank. 1 tank, 2 tank, 3 tank, 4 tank, Mill tank, which has 4 nipples, so basically it's a whole other team, and now you can challenge a raid. Now, you may be saying, but Pam, shouldn't I have a healer or like 1 DPS? And to that, I say, you are a coward. Are you not up to the challenge? Sure, damage will accumulate slower, and you'll probably have to sacrifice 1 or 2 teammates along the way, but that's just part of the excitement. There's nothing like a little death to spice up the experience, and maybe break a few friendships along the way. Why settle for your regular normie experience when you can experience the exhilaration of a tank-only Chad run? You don't need heals if you don't take damage in the first place, and you don't need a DPS when you're perfectly capable of smashing enemies with your oversized weapons on your own. And if even that gets boring, well, play as a gunbreaker and hit that good old emergency button to really liven things up. So what are you waiting for? Get out there and start your own tank-only run and feel like the badass you were always meant to be. You'll thank me later.